welcome to Trucks. This week we're at Spec Cargo Ball taking a look at the design and production of refrigerated truck bodies. Also Brian's testing the Vauxhall Combo. And we'll be talking to you about your problems in truckers' gripes. And not forgetting our Tim, he's taking a look at the Volvo Flea. You may think workshops are dirty places, but here at Spec Cargo Bull in Durham, the producers of refrigerated bodies and curtain siders, new concepts from Japan are being implemented to revolutionise working practice. The main aim is to standardise production procedure and alter attitudes to housekeeping in the workplace.
And it's not Feng Shui, it's called Kaizen.
And it's not just a buzzword either.
And it's founded on the principles of hard work and routine. And they use that to reorganise production to make it more user-friendly and more efficient.
Just like when you're making a brew at home using your kitchen appliances.
The terminology Kaizen is obviously from the Japanese, and it means actually small steps. But also Kaizen links into moving machines, having a look like we talked about, using the different tools. You definitely have to get the people off the shop floor. If you do not have their backing, it will never work. Basically, the first one to change the cultural changes in I would class a traditional working place of the old UK style. And basically the 5S is just into 5 stages. And we've said it before: separate, simplify, sanitize, safety, and standardize. So again, it takes in all the principles, okay? So separate is basically just getting rid of all the wasted, useless, redundant stock or even equipment, you know, and then you simplify it by making it a layout which is simple, but everything has a place for it to go into. Sanitizers to clean, obviously, and therefore once you've got it at that level, then the worker knows what level that has to be, and that could be monitored. The safety side, very important. People on the shop floor are our jewels and our crown. Absolutely simple. They are the person who adds value and makes money for this company. And then standardise. If we have the same standard throughout the plant, then it becomes a habit. Well, an example for the 5Ss is we now looking at parts of the workflow and the parts of the factory. And we are identifying, okay, how can we make productivity improvements by not making the worker work any harder, by making them work easier but smarter. So having tooling on hand, having the right raw materials, the right quantities on hand, so he's not actually putting any non-value adding. So all these efforts is value adding into the product.
And it's designed to create a closer relationship between workers and management.
Well, one of the management brought his office down onto the shop floor within about a few weeks of this idea starting. So he's constantly out on the shop floor, having a look around. I'm not sure whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but he never sort of. It's a good idea because he seems to have brought himself onto the shop floor rather than the shop floor lads having to bring themselves onto him.
So do these techniques make the job any easier? And do the workers actually feel more valued? Or is it just a smokescreen to boost morale in order to maximise production?
We got rid of the marking our cards for getting our 8 hours in a day, marking our cards. It's a much more relaxed sort of atmosphere to work in now. The working conditions have improved because some of the trailers are worked on up a height. They've brought more gantries in, and the factory floor is actually a lot cleaner as well.
And from what we've picked up and started to develop on it now, it's going to be a big help in the future of the plant.
So Kaizen simplifies production techniques in order to create a better working environment.
It's a bit robotic, but it is very efficient, and the management here swear by the philosophy.
Later on in the show, we'll be taking a look at these techniques and see how it's put into operation on the shop floor.
But for now, Brian's delivering his verdict on Vauxhall's Combo.
Small commercial vehicles, boring, uncomfortable, not the nicest thing to drive. This is the new Vauxhall Combo. Let's have a look at it, shall we? This time Vauxhalls have made a good job of the Combo. This is a much more pleasing van. The outside of it looks nice, the lines are nice, it doesn't look like a car-derived van that's just come out of nowhere. A bit more thought been put into this one. The inside comfort is a bit better, it's more stylish, it's more comfortable. You can see through the windscreen a lot better. It's a very, very deep screen on it. It really does make driving this vehicle a pleasure. Now we're sat in the driver's seat. What is it like? It's very comfortable. Plenty of space here. It does feel nice. Not exactly what you expect from a small van. So, let's go and see what it performs like on the road, shall we? Come on, let's try. Right, this particular vehicle's got a 1.7 turbo diesel engine in it, and it's very responsive. It does pick up, although there is a bit of lag between when you put your foot on the accelerator and you can just feel that turbo coming. Nice bit of torque again though, certainly low down. Now this also has a lot of extra controls on this. You have in this vehicle not only a radio, and it does also have a CD player, you've also got on there sat navigation. Now all the controls can be got at from the steering wheel here, which is very nice. You can bring anything up you want to, you can adjust the radio. The trouble is there is a lot of writing on there which would be very difficult to read while you were driving. I'd suggest that you didn't try it. Concept of the side loading door is a very good idea. Now, the only thing you will notice with this, the aperture is not very big. Also, it's not very high. When you're in here and you're unloading a big load, you lift up, and I'm afraid you're going to get a very bad headache on there. And there's also no padding or protection on the inside of that. It's not such a good idea, is it? Cab itself is very large. Storage space and place to put documents, there is a mass of them. Now the technical spec of this particular vehicle, which is the 1.7 DTI, now for all you petrol heads out there, this particular vehicle has 165 Newton meters at 1800 RPM. Now that's pretty impressive for a small engine like this. You've got no cam bells to worry about, very cost effective engine. It also comes, as we've said, in dual fuel, diesel and petrol. So if you're looking for economy, think about it. Okay, we've looked over the vehicle, we've road tested the vehicle. So what do we think of it overhaul? It's a very nice little package. Now, one or two problems we found out, also on the road test. If you're very tall, you're going to have problems with the steering wheel. It rubs right across the top of your leg. There's no adjustment whatsoever on that steering column. Secondly, which we find a very funny thing, on the passenger seat, it doesn't slide backwards and forwards. The back of it will fold down, plenty of space if you haven't got the cage in there for carrying goods, but the seat doesn't move. But overall, the vehicle isn't bad at all. It's economical, comes in petrol, diesel and in LPG straight from the factory. And really, it's not a bad colour, is it?
Thanks, Brian. It seems like the Vauxhall's a nice combination. And now that we've seen the philosophy behind how the trailers are produced, it's time to have a look at how they're designed and tested. And Helen's with a man who's in the know.
I certainly am, Tim, and that man comes in the shape of Paul Avery, who is the engineering manager here. Hi, Paul.
Hi.
How you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Good. Can you tell me a little bit about what you do here?
Yeah, we handle the design and development of not only the core product but customer-specific orders for the reefer plant, for the curtain sider plant. We also deal with the dry freight and rigid box.
That's fantastic. So you must have quite a few people working for you then?
Yeah, I have 2 full-time design engineers working on all product ranges. We also have a research and development technician who works in the lab and in the test bay. So yeah.
So those 3 men must be very busy.
Yes, they're kept well, well employed.
So what type of CAD system do you use here?
We're using a 3D solid modeler called HiCAD. So every component's drawn as a 3D solid object.
Fantastic. That's quite advanced then, isn't it?
It is quite an advanced system, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. So do I get to meet one of these designers?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can go and talk
Brilliant.
to them.
I'll go off
Yeah.
now then. See you
Okay.
later. I found the design department and I'm now on the lookout for John Bird, and I think I can find him. Hi, John.
Hello.
What are you working on there?
I'm working on the rear shutter installation for the curtain side product.
Oh, that's fantastic. And that's what you're doing at the moment?
Yes.
Right. So can you, I know this is like an advanced CAD system, it's 3D and everything else, but can you actually test durability on here?
For something of this size, we'd use a testing facility that's downstairs.
Oh, you've got a testing facility here? I think that's where Tim's wandered off to, actually.
Well, in my wanderings, I seem to have found the Research and Development Centre. And it just so happens that the design that Helen was working on is here on the test rig. As we can see, the test rig does simulate something like 8 to 10 years of life for the rear frame of this trailer. And what will happen is see if it can set up the test and riggers that are going on at each corners. More importantly, this is not the only testing that goes on at this factory.
Every trailer has to have an ATP certificate, which means it conforms to a certain standard and doesn't allow the cold air to escape too fast. To retain this certificate, 1 in every 100 trailers has to be tested at the factory to make sure it complies with the regulations.
And this is what it looks like when it's finished.
Yeah, and it's so brilliant to see the whole process, the design.
Oh, come on, it's time for a break.
Oh, OK, but don't forget after the break it's Truckers Gripes.
And I'll be testing the Volvo fleet. Hello and welcome back to Trucks, and in this week's show we'll be looking at the change in working and manufacturing techniques in the commercial vehicle industry.
And we're also going to look at the practices on the shop floor in action. But first, it's time for Tim and the Volvo Flea.
Let me ask you a question. If I say to you the word Volvo, what do you think of? Well, if it's a car, you're probably thinking about safety, conservatism, and perhaps recently, a little bit more stylish. That's fine for the cars, but we're here today to see if the same can be said for the trucks. The FLE is really an updated version of the FL6, and that's been with us for, I don't know, 10 years, something like that. And it's a more refined vehicle. First thing you notice when you get into the cab is this very large engine hump, and it's enormous. It really does intrude. Now, there's a good side and a bad side to this sort of thing. The good side is it means the fact that they've managed to put the cab very low down on the chassis, which means that the access into the cab isn't too bad at all. It's only 2 or 3 steps, that's it. The bad side is it cuts out completely the ability to go across cab. This is the middle of the range vehicle. This is the 220 engine. So we have a 250 as I say, and we also have a 280. When it comes to instrumentation, a reasonable level. We've got semi-wrap round dashboard here. Well, I'm being kind actually, it's not even semi-wrap round. I know the Scandinavians do like to have this wrap round dash, but this actually is really a standard dash with a centre console. The fit and finish is very good. Nice Volvo. I do like the seats are great. We've got a standard passenger seat there as well. We've also got a nice air suspended seat here. Very good indeed. All in all, a nice steady vehicle. Really suited not to the urban distribution, i.e. doing multi-drop work. There are some other vehicles that might be better suited to that on the 18-ton market, but certainly if I was doing 3 or 4 drops on this vehicle and doing a reasonable mileage, then this is the sort of vehicle I would pick.
The FLE is based on the proven success of the FL6 series and further enhances its reputation. The cab is the smallest in the Volvo range and caters for vehicles below 18 tonnes as well. It has the distinctive Volvo sash on the front grille, in keeping with its traditional style.
What really makes people go and buy this? Well, apart from the reliability side of it and the fact that, you know, the FL6 has been one of the best sellers in the 18-tonner, which was its predecessor in the market, you can see it's got a good pedigree, a good history. It's a good, safe, comfortable drive. This vehicle has a feeling that it's nice and tough, and also, more importantly, is also the fit and finish is excellent. Really, really good indeed. What I don't like about it are probably the fact the lack of storage, which is a really important part of this sort of vehicle. As far as the ride and handling is concerned, really nice ride. I do like this vehicle. This vehicle hugs the road, sits there. You know, some of these vehicles that you drive along and they tend to wallow quite a lot. This does not.
The Volvo FLE day cab has a gross vehicle weight of 18 tonnes. It features the 220 brake horsepower Volvo D6B engine, which is rated at 700 Newton meters between 1400 and 1800 RPM. This is matched to the Volvo T600A gearbox, and most importantly, it's got disc brakes all round. The curb weight of the vehicle is 5,320 kilograms.
So what do I think of the FLE? Well, it's a typical Volvo, and I mean that from a truck perspective. It is a great all-rounder, but it doesn't seem to excel in anything in particular. Yes, it is reliable, yes, it is safe, and yes, they will sell lots of vehicles, but it does like that one little thing. Is that little bit of style.
So not very exciting then, Tim, but reliable. And now it's over to you with the everyday complications you face in life with truckers' gripes. Now we all complain about our jobs, bad pay and long hours. Perhaps the only thing that makes life easier is that most jobs are pretty straightforward. But every once in a while something comes along that throws our routine right out. For the trucking industry, some of the biggest developments have come from Europe. So with these issues in mind, has the job become any more complicated?
Not really, no. Obviously the laws are changing. As I say, the working time directive's coming in. But no, I don't think there's complications of it.
The job itself is just the same as it was when I started. As far as I'm concerned, I still go to the place, they take it off and take it on. There's nothing much I can walk and do just by driving from A to B.
Although the haulage industry is one of the oldest trades in the world, the fundamentals of how it works have changed little throughout time. Despite the long working hours that many drivers are required to do, technology such as common rail diesel engines and smoother gearboxes have helped make the day-to-day jobs such as driving easier. Saying that, is the job still too complicated?
No, I don't think the job's becoming any more complicated. There are more and more pressures on us in terms of time because of traffic congestion, weather conditions, roadworks. So actually getting to where we need to be on time, and then when you do get to where you need to be, often it's a warehouse, and because of insufficient staffing levels at your drops, although we're only allowed to work a 9-hour day, we'll often run up to a 15-hour day because you sat around for 3, 4, 5 hours waiting for somebody to unload you.
Everywhere you go, you've got to book in, even for small places that, you know, that don't need booking in times, and just puts pressure on you all the time, you know.
The introduction of new driver aids have clearly helped the everyday life of a driver, making it that little bit easier. And despite the increasing legislation from the European Union, the life of a truck driver is still quite painless when it comes to job complications. The question is, how long is this going to last? Some things are never that easy, are they? Now, earlier on in the show, we were taking a look at the changing attitudes within the working and manufacturing processes within the trucking industry. Now, it's all well and good in theory, but how does this translate to the shop floor?
If I look back 5 years ago, we need about 170 hours to build a curtain sider. Today it's about 65 hours. And the reefer is the same. We have reduced our labor hour per unit by 50% because we have made big investments in the last year. Average investment per year in the group is about 35 million euros. So we have to rationalize to be profitable in the future.
The first step in any production process is to build on a solid base, and that's exactly what they're doing here with the creation of a trailer chassis.
When we build swap bodies, different type of rigids, box vans, etc. But we have learned to concentrate ourselves on 3-4 main products, European-style products, and this is a semi-trailer, especially the curtain sider, and in Eastern Europe, the tilt trailer, which is not so known in UK here, and the reefer, of course. So concentration is our philosophy.
Each chassis is individually welded together to incorporate the trailer's running gear, supplied by Mercedes-Benz.
Once the chassis is completed, it's prepared for the paint shop. All the vital electronics and base running gear are protected by tape. Then it's sprayed and placed in an oven for about 1 hour.
Yeah, the challenge is that Europe is coming together. Not only Western Europe, but Eastern Europe, Central Europe. All these countries are coming together, and transport is an important thing because everything we are eating, we are getting, is transported from Spain, from Italy, fruits, etc. And these transport, therefore you need reefers or curtain siders. And the big players in the industry are growing. They're expanding all over Europe. And the small players in the industry, they will find their niches, but only niches. So I think it's a good market for us.
The next stage is to add any additional running gear, such as the air-suspended rear axle.
While the chassis is being kitted out and painted, the refrigerated body is being manufactured using parts brought in from Germany.
The external height of a trailer is 4.6 meters here in UK. In the rest of Europe, we're limited up to 4 meters, which creates a problem to build trailers in Germany and to deliver them to UK. That's why we decided 11 years ago to start here in UK, our own business and our own production. I think that's the main problem. There are some small, different type of options customer would like to have, but in general it's the same because even the UK customers are driving European-wide.
Well, first of all, it's the floor, and it's a little bit like a sandwich. We've got styrofoam in the middle, and it's topped off with an aluminium checker plate, and underneath is a white steel UPVC. This then is put into a bath here of resin where it's bonded together, and then that's placed along with the roof and it's sent up for the next stage. After that's completed, the fridge unit is then added to the trailer body.
We have employed all over Europe more than 2,800 people actually, and in the UK there are 350 people on our payroll here. So our financial year has finished at the end of March this year, and we have realized a turnover of about 735 million euros all over Europe.
So there you are. Not only have we seen some very sophisticated design and production processes from the start to the finish,
but perhaps more importantly, how new manufacturing practices are increasing productivity and helping with staff morale.
Yeah, that's all we've got time for tonight. But join us next week when Brian will be testing out the Mitsubishi Shogun for work.
And you'll be testing out some humdinging HGVs.